Today we'll revisit a drink worthy of sharing again. It's Dr. Barca's Fluffy Banana from Smuggler's Cove. The first video I made on this was from April 2023, and I had a close approximation of the recipe, but I made it a little bit differently than they do at Smuggler's Cove. I used an immersion blender instead of the drink mixer, and I did this after some testing. Just couldn't quite get the foam to match at home what I had had a couple times at Smuggler's Cove. But since then, I've learned a few things after having ordered this drink several more times, and that foam is often different depending on the visit and the bartender. And honestly, I don't think it's that important to get it exactly as you had it. Overall, you're looking for a fluffy drink that tastes delicious, and that's what we're gonna make today. There was also a period of time, and that might still be the case today, where Smuggler's Cove changed up the recipe and they use different bitters and a different cachaça. So today, we'll make both of them and compare them and see if there's a real big difference and maybe even which one is better. When I first made this, the recipe had been shared to me from a bartender there, but I kind of forgot it that night. I searched online, but I didn't find anything. But after sharing that video, I connected with Nathan Robinson on Instagram. His handle is MyTai1On, and he had shared the recipe all the way back in September 2020. And it's the same recipe from Smuggler's Cove. He's a regular and lives close by. Nathan and I also messaged about the change up to the bitters and the cachaça, so that was confirmed. It's not just my imagination running wild from an evening at Smuggler's Cove. But maybe most important is that on one of my visits late last year, a certain doctor went out of his way to show me how he makes it, and I kind of remember that. And I was told a little bit more from another bartender about the origin of the name, but you'll have to ask them at Smuggler's Cove yourself if you want to find out about that. Because while you can make this at home and it will taste great, having it in person there is going to be the best, especially if it's made by the doctor himself. So for this one, you'll need Angostura Bitters, lemon juice, Smuggler's Cove cream of coconut, Giffard banana liqueur, and Avua Amburana Cachac. For this alternate version, you'll need basically the same ingredients, but we're subbing out the Angostura for Peycahud bitters, and we're switching out that Avua Amburana Cachac for an aged Novo Fogo. The Smuggler's Cove coconut cream is 1 part coconut milk to 1 part of a 2-to-1 simple syrup. That'll end up somewhere between 30 to 40 bricks, depending on your coconut milk and how much sugar's in there already. They should be unsweetened, but they have some sugar. So it's gonna be less sweet than Coco Lopez, and it's going to be less sweet than a 50 bricks homemade cream of coconut. But what you can also do is if you have a somewhat even proportion, and in this case, we're gonna need 1.5 ounces, we can just use coconut milk, which I have right here, and a 2-to-1 simple syrup. So instead of using 1.5 ounces of a cream of coconut, I'm gonna use 3/4 ounces of this coconut milk and then 3/4 ounces of a 2-to-1 simple. So let's make both versions, starting with 2 dashes of bitters, 3/4 ounces of lemon juice, 1.5 ounces of the Smuggler's Cove coconut cream, 1 ounce of a banana liqueur, and 2 ounces of a cachaça. No garnish for this one. And there you go. Dr. Barca's Fluffy Bananas by Dane Barca from Smuggler's Cove. All right, before we try them, if you notice over here, the one on my right is the one that has the Peycahud bitters with the aged Novo Fogo. I'll insert video here, some like behind the scenes B-roll, I guess, but if you look, foam on this one is bigger. I made them exactly the same, exact same ingredients. Coming out of the drink mixer, I poured them the same, where I kind of kept the strainer a little bit off the edge there so some foam could get through. And this is why I think the drink can be frustrating if you're trying to get an exact type of foam, because it's not really possible. Each time it's going to be just like a touch different, and that's totally fine. It's not the ingredients that made it different either. Now, this one I did, as I was building them, I actually ended up putting this through the drink mixer first as I was going through it. So it has had, I don't know, 20 seconds more to kind of set up, but it's really not like it's been sitting here a lot longer. But I also don't know if the foam's better because this one has more, it's like more emulsified here, and this one has started to separate more. So regardless of how your foam turns out and how big the bubbles are on top, and these bubbles are a lot bigger, it's still going to get you a great drink. It's still going to taste relatively close to the same no matter what. So let's try it. I'm going to start with the original, which is the one with Angostura. There's a delicious sweetness to it. So if you don't like sweet cocktails, it is approaching kind of the sweeter side of things on cocktails that are kind of balanced, but you still do get the lemon juice to balance it out. And it really tastes as obvious as it sounds. It's coconut, cachaça, and banana. And those three things work together in this amazing way to create an amazing drink. And the Angostura helps here too. Having the bitters helps cut down on some of that sweetness, kind of tie everything together and make it a more complete cocktail and not just like a sweet treat of a drink. So let's try the one with the Novo Fogo barrel aged and the Peycahud bitter. So they're noticeably different, but I don't think that one necessarily stands out as so much better than the other one. I think the sweetness in this one comes through a little more as like a one-dimensional note. Peychahud's has a little bit of like a licorice taste to it, but that's not really that present. And also, I think you're getting more of the bitters in this one. And I would guess if I were to weigh it out, the restrictors on the Peychahud seems to be larger than most Dasher bottles, than most Angostura bottles. But even so, the Angostura is so much more of a bold flavor that 2 dashes comes through in a cocktail more in the original Dr. Barca's Fluffy Banana compared to the Novo Fogo Peychahud's version. Now, obviously, some of the differences are also going to be coming from your Cachaça. I've not tasted those next to each other, and I guess I probably should do that right now. And I rarely drink Cachaça on its own. It's been a long time. I don't know how accurately I could really describe them to you, but if you're thinking about, if you're not super familiar with Cachaça, it is not as intensely grassy as something like a Martinique rum, like a rum agricole. And I think if you were to taste some of those rum agricoles before tasting these, you might get totally lost that they are sugarcane juice-based rums. It's still there, and in a cocktail especially, it's almost like more noticeable in a cocktail. I will say that the barrel-aged notes, caramely, vanilla-y notes from the aroma as well as the taste come through more in the Novo Fogo, but in the drink, I think the Novo Fogo one with the combination of the bitters there is just a little bit flatter, and the one with the Amburana with the Angostura, there's like an underlying spice note to it, which works to me like with the banana, with the coconut, and with the lemon juice. So there you go, 2 versions of Dr. Barca's Fluffy Banana, both from Smuggler's Cove, and I will say that the winner for me is that original one, the one with the Amburana Cachaça and Angostura. But if you can't get the Amburana Cachaça, you have access to another aged Cachaça, then I would still use the Agostura Bitters. I just like that flavor better. But if you have all these ingredients on hand, then you should do this yourself. You should try both of these against each other head to head, maybe even using the same Cachaça and seeing how much the bitters play a difference there. I don't know the exact reason why they started switching it up. I'm assuming it's because the Avua Amburana might be more difficult to source. And now that I think about it, I'm not 100% sure they're using that exact Novo Fogo barrel age. They might be using a different one. Novo Fogo has a huge line of different unique aged Cachaça, so it could have been something else. I thought it was that one. That's actually why I bought that bottle. But after a night of drinks at Smuggler's Cove, sometimes you don't remember the tiny little details like that. So that's it for this one. One of the best cocktails you're ever going to have. That's a banana cocktail. It is one of the best. And what I love about this cocktail, I think my favorite thing is for this YouTube channel, which is it's a very small YouTube channel. You would think that the videos that get views or whatever are things that people have heard of. Like the Dr. Barca's Fluffy Banana is a drink that you've only heard of if you've been to Smuggler's Cove, and yet that video still gets views, still gets people commenting on it, people talking about it. It's because the drink is so good. Obviously, it's got a cool name and everything, but I think once people make it with those ingredients, it's delicious. And when I was last at Smuggler's Cove, I was with Kevin Crossman from Ultimate Mai Tai, and it was not a scientific research, but I did notice from sitting off to the side that I saw so many Dr. Barca's Fluffy Bananas leaving the bar compared to other drinks. It was actually Dr. Barca's Fluffy Banana and another kind of sweet Smuggler's Cove cocktail that I'm going to be doing sometime soon. So it's popular there. I think just looking at it on the menu stands out. So it's one of my favorites from Smuggler's Cove. As far as the not like traditional, like big, like rum cocktails, like whether it's a Mai Tai or the Demerara Dry Float, this as the unique ones, this one's the best. This is one of my favorites. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a like below. Consider subscribing to the channel. If you want to support this channel more, go check out the Patreon page. And otherwise, I'll see you on the next one.